Shalom, Israel. This is Daniel ben Yasharael, and all praise the Most High Yah, the King of Israel. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Today, I'm going to show you that the modern Hebrew today indeed is not the official Hebrew. It's a Gentile bastardized language, a mixing of many languages. The Gentiles today try so hard to keep you away from the Most High Yah. So why would they give you the official language so you may call upon the Holy One of Israel so he may come and rescue you and save you so they may no longer be blessed through us any longer? Why would they do that? You got to think about that. So today I'm going to show you, those of you that have been researching and trying to see, hey, should I learn the Hebrew? Should I? Or should I just read what I got? You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm just going to show you today that, hey, the Hebrew today is not the words of the Most High. It lies on the Most High. It doesn't want you to connect with the Most High at all. The Most High will converse with you in the language that you speak today. It is not the ancient language, the original, this so-called modern Hebrew. So let's dive into this article, Wikipedia, how they flat out tell you the truth, and then again they turn around and tell you a lie after they told you the truth. The Gentiles is clever at doing it. They're very crafty, but today we just gonna give you the truth. All right, here we go. It says modern Hebrew. Oh, and excuse me on some of my vocabulary. Some of these words I can't pronounce right. So I'm trying, but I'm just trying to present the message to you. But here we go. It says modern Hebrew. Modern Hebrew right here. Modern Hebrew or Israeli. Remember that. Israeli Hebrew. Modern Hebrew. Israeli Hebrew. Put a black on there. Israeli Hebrew. Modern Hebrew or new Hebrew. New Hebrew. What is new? Something brand new, something that's presented to you. That means it's not the same. It's something new. Modern is new. Israeli is new. Hebrew. Generally referred to by the speakers simply as Hebrew. So to dilute you from the name new, modern, and Israeli, they're just going to say, forget it. We just going to call it Hebrew. This will throw them off. But we're going to tell the truth to our people to let them know that, hey, this is not the official. This is the drop. I'm letting you know. It said general referred to by speakers as simply as Hebrew. It's the standard form of the Hebrew language spoken today. Spoken today, not the ancient paths, not of Yahweh, but it's spoken today. The Hebrew spoken today. Modern, Israeli, new. Now, here comes the lie. Spoken in ancient times. Hebrew. Remember what they just said. We simply call it Hebrew. They try to combine it all together and say, look, it's just Hebrew. But it isn't. It's just like me getting Spanish, even though that's a broken form of English, and say, oh, Spanish is just Spanish. But in reality, it's just another form of English. It's just English. Same English letters. But I'm going to show you that Hebrew isn't the same letters. It isn't the same language of the old. But it says spoken in ancient times. Hebrew, a member of the Canaanite branch of the Semitic language. No, it's not. Not this Hebrew. Spoken in ancient times, a Hebrew, a modern a member of the Canaanite branch of a Semitic language family, was supplemented as the Jewish vernacular by the Western dialect of Aramaic beginning in the 3rd century BCE. Though it continued to be used as a liturgical and literary language, it was revived spoken language in the 19th, 20th centuries. The 19th and 20th century. 19th and 20th century. That's when your Hebrew today came back and is the official language of Israel. But is they talking about you, black man? Is that your language that these Gentiles speak over there in the so-called Israel? The choice is yours if you want to believe that. So let's get down. Here go that term again. Modern Hebrew, Israeli Hebrew. Go back up. New Hebrew. That's not the black man's language. It's a little bit of Aramaic, but you will see it is not, it don't have nothing to do with the Canaanite language at all. Once you look down at it, once we scroll down and look at it more, it says the word shalom is rendered in modern Hebrew, including vowel points. Even the letters, it's not the official Hebrew. They put dialects to it. They added dialects to their own language to help them understand the Middle Eastern language too. But black man is not your language. They created this language with the help of our enemies. So we keep saying shalom, but we really don't know what we really saying. We thinking shalom means peace, but it could be a curse upon ourselves. Modern Hebrew. We're going to get there, family. We're going to get there. Look at that. The fake Hebrew land. Even though the Most High said nobody would dwell in Judea. Nobody will live in Judea. It will not be built up until he gather us again. But they have built the cities back up. They built Bethlehem back up. They built Gideon back up. It is not your land. That is not your land. Here we go. Let's get more into the drop. It says modern Hebrew is spoken by about 9 million people, counting native, fluent, and non-fluent speakers. Most speakers are citizens of Israel. Not you, black man. Not you. Israelis. About 5 million are Israelis. What do the word Israel go back to? Israeli go back to? We just seen it. New. This is a new people. A new language. Not your language. All right. Most speakers are citizens of Israel. About 5 million are Israelis who spoke in modern Hebrew as their native language. As their native language, not yours. 1.5 million are immigrants to Israel. 1.5 million are Arabs, citizens of Israel. Those are the natives. You should know the modern Hebrew is a mixture of Arabic too. That's why they said the natives of that land. The natives is the Arabs. Wordplay. Wordplay. 1.5 million are immigrants to Israel. 1.5 million are Arabs. 1.5 million. Native language. Arab. Who did they took the land from? Arabs. Arab. Come on now. Look at the wordplay in front of you. The immigrants are the Arabs. That's who they call the immigrants. Even though they are the immigrants. Even though you could say the Arab language is in relation to the ancient Hebrew language because Ishmael is our brother. Edom are our brothers. Is our brothers, man. I'm telling you. But it says 1.5 million are Arab citizens of Israel, whose first language is usually Arabic, and 500,000 Israelis or diaspora, I think it's diaspora, Jews living outside of Israel. Who are they? Exile. Even though they believe that's their land, but it's not. They've been tricked too. That's called the backup plan. 500,000 Israelis or diaspora living outside of Israel. It's just diaspora. It's just the Africans. They claim themselves to be Judea, living outside of the land of Israel. But remember, Jeremiah said the land would not be built up. It would not be built up. It would be a land of jackals until the Most High come. People are going to be astonished at it. They're going to hiss and be astonished at the land. They will not be in it. It will not be built up. But these people are living in it. So therefore, that couldn't be the land. It's all a plan. It's all a game. But that's another topic. But let's continue. It says the organization that officially directs the development of the modern Hebrew language under the law of the state of Israel is the Academy of the Hebrew Language. This couldn't be their official language because they got to go to a school to learn it. The natives got to go to a school to learn their old so-called made-up language. Do the American got to go to school to learn English? Not really, because their parents already taught them that. But these people got to go to school to learn the Hebrew language. Modern Hebrew language. Because it's a fake language. How can a baby that's born automatically learn a fake language? They're going to speak their original language. They're going to speak their German language. Where their tongue can already speak. They're indigenous to that land. They're going to speak the indigenous language of that land. Like how us Africans, sorry to call ourselves that, some of us got a slang in our voice. Some words we just can't pronounce. It's because of our native tongue. We're not meant to speak English. Now here we go. It says the most common scholarly term for the language is modern Hebrew. Most people refer to it simply as Hebrew. Why do they just call it Hebrew? To dilute you from the ancient. Because it's not the same. And it says the term modern Hebrew has been described as somewhat problematic. Problematic. It's a problem. They don't want you to say modern Hebrew. They just want you to say Hebrew. But everybody knows. as it implies ambiguous a periodization from biblical Hebrew. From biblical Hebrew, it's not the original. Now, they said Rosen supported the now widely used term Israeli Hebrew. It's not the original. Israeli Hebrew. New. I gotta keep repeating these words so you can know. Key terms. New Hebrew. Israeli Hebrew. On the basis that it represented the non-chronological nature of Hebrew. It don't even support the nature of Hebrew. It's not even original. It has no relation to the old. It doesn't support it. It doesn't represent it. That's why it's called Israeli Hebrew. Now, it says in 1999, Israeli linguist Gilad Zuckerman proposed the term Israeli to represent the multiple origins of the language. Your term Israeli didn't come into the 1990 until 1999, almost the year 2000. Uh-oh. So they telling you the truth, but they flat out told you a lie right here. They told you a lie right there. Tried to say it's the ancient, but they flat out telling you, no, it's not. It's the new. Oh, it's the new, but it's ancient. That's a lie. It is not the ancient. Let's continue. All right, now we go on down right here to the background. It says the history of the Hebrew language can be divided into 4 major parts. No, it cannot. Only can be divided into 2 major parts. That is the Aramaic, and that is the biblical Hebrew. That's the only 2 major parts it can be divided to. But it says the biblical Hebrew until about the 3rd century BCE, the language of most of the Hebrew Bible, which is Paleo Hebrew, or some people say Gorabre Hebrew. Fake Hebrew right here. Mishnah, Talmud, medieval Hebrew, which is the fake Hebrew you see up there without the dialect. Gentile Hebrew. Medieval. There's Gentile Hebrew. Fake Hebrew. At that time, we were still speaking Aramaic. And it says modern Hebrew. The one we talking about right now. Fake Hebrew. They came in the 6th century to change it up. 6th to the 13th, I say 10th century, but they came around that time and changed everything up and continued with their plan until they finally eliminated the black man, Hebrew Israelite man, Guabre man, out of the so-called history, but they didn't take them out the land yet, out of Africa yet. But anyways, they was just eliminating them from being the people. So they had to change the land, they had to change the language, they had to change a lot of things to make it fit them. But it says the Jewish contemporary sources describe Hebrew flourishing as a spoken language in the kingdoms of Israel and Judah, not the Israeli language, during the 1200 to 586 BCE. Scholars debate the degree of which Hebrew remained spoken in the vernacular following the Babylonian captivity, when Old Aramaic became. They just told you what it is. I just told you what it was. We were speaking Aramaic during the Babylonian captivity. We was forced to learn that language. It was forced. Became the predominant international language in that region. It wasn't Hebrew. We were speaking Aramaic after the Babylonian captivity. Hebrew was removed from our tongue. The Most High stripped us from our culture. If we strip from our culture, we will be forced to learn another man's language, speak their tongues. Hebrew died out. So how can it be revived from a Gentile if it died out? Why would the Most High allow the Gentile to revive the language? It's because it's not a language. Hebrew died out as a vernacular language somewhere between 200 and 400 CE, Common Era, declining after the Bar Kokhba revolt of 132 and 136 CE, which devastated the population of Judah after the exile. But what exile? Hebrew became restricted to a liturgical use. Liturgical use or worship. Revival. Let's look at the revival. We got quite a bit to read. It said Hebrew has spoken at various times for a number of purposes through the diaspora and during the old Yishuv. It had developed into a spoken lingua franca among the Jews of Palestine. Eleazar ben Yehuda then led a revival of the Hebrew language. This is the Gentiles right here. This is the Gentiles. The Gentiles. This is not us. This is the Gentiles. Had led the revival of the Hebrew language as the mother tongue in the late 19th century and the early 20th century. How can a Gentile revive your ancient language? It is new. A new language appeared in the 19th century and early 20th century. Israeli Hebrew, modern Hebrew. Then they just said F it, Hebrew. Modern Hebrew, here it is. Use biblical Hebrew morphemes. Miss Nanik, that's the fake one. Spelling. And a Sephardic pronunciation. Fake. Many idioms, called whatever that word is, were made from Yiddish. Fake people, Gentiles. Its acceptance by the early Jewish migrants. When the fake Khazarians came, they was immigrants to the place, to the Ottoman Palestine. They took the land for Palestine. Was caused by, primarily by supported from the organizations of Edmund James D. Rothschild, who funded them from taking the land. The Rothschilds funded it in the 1880s. We all should know about this. That's the beginning of your so-called truth, so-called Hebrew man. You should know that. How they took their land, how they got it from Palestine. That was Palestine regional land. That's not the Hebrew lands. That's not our true land, but that was Palestine. That was a part of Palestine. They took it, and they taking the rest of Palestine even to this day. In the 1880s, and in the official status it received in the 1922 Constitution and the British mandate for Palestine. It wasn't Israel. It never was Israel. It was Palestine. They just took a part of Palestine and called it Israel. All to eliminate you, dragons, aka black man, aka Hebrew, Moors, or whatever you want to call yourself. And it says Ben Yehuda, which is a Gentile, called codified and planted modern Hebrew using 800 words from the Bible and 20,000 words from the rabbinical commentaries. They made that up, their own commentaries of what they perceive of our literature. Many new words were borrowed from what? What did I just tell you earlier? Arabic. You're speaking Arabic and German language, and also Aramaic at the same time, and also another language from Indo European Europe. And it says, due to the language common Semitic roots, it isn't a Semitic root with Hebrew, but changed to fit the phonology of grammar. For example, the words greed singular is garbarium are now applied to socks, a diminutive of the Arabic garam, socks. In addition, all they speaking is Arabic, though I'm telling y'all. In addition, early Jewish immigrants borrowing from the local Arabs and later immigrants from Arab lands introduced many loan words from Arabic. I ain't finna mention all those words. And it says, as well as much of modern Hebrew slang. It ain't nothing but Arabic language. You might as well learn the Arabic language if you want to study that crap. But it says, despite Ben Yehuda's fame as the renewer, this is his language. Ben Yehuda's, a white man, the person that renewed the Hebrew language, revived it. How much battery I got left? 9%. But it says he revived it. He revived it. You're speaking a Gentiles language, somebody that borrowed from Arabic language. It's going to get worse. The most productive renewer of the Hebrew words was poet Hayam Naaman Balak or Biolek. So Yehuda and Chaim is the two people that created your Hebrew language today. And it says one other phenomenon seen with the revival of the Hebrew language is the old meanings of the word were occasionally changed for altogether different meanings. So if they did took the original Hebrew, they changed your language altogether, different meanings. They change your words, black man. They put it in the book too. So what you think you really reading ain't what you really reading. If you so-called trying to learn that language, you messed up. You effed up. You learned. You're wrong. You lost. Such as, we ain't gonna read all that. It says, which in Mishnaic Hebrew meant hyena, but in modern Hebrew, it now means cheetah. We ain't even gonna get all that, but here we go. It's now applied as a variety of summer. Okay, let's skip that. And it says a new plant native to the New World. Another example. Okay, now we're talking about the Aramaic, showing that they took from the Aramaic. For simple comparison between the Sephardic and the Yemenite versions of the Mishnaic Hebrew, see Yemenite Hebrew. I'll check that out another time. Okay. Classification. I really wanted to get here. It says modern Hebrew is classified as an Afro-Asiatic language. It's not It's not classified as an Afro-Asiatic because it's not our language. You see how they just lied? It's not Afro. It's just Asiatic. That's not our language. This is where they try to make you learn that language instead of following the ancient path. Wordplay. They just told you it was an Israeli language. They just told you Ben Yehuda and Hahim just created this language and they borrowed from the Arabs. They borrowed from the Aramaics. Come on now. Now they saying now they trying to slap it and give it to you, black man. They say it's your language. Come on now. You see how what they doing? I'm teaching you this stuff right here in your face. It's crazy. And it says of a Semitic family. It's not Semitic, it's German. And the Canaanite branch is not Canaanite. It's not your language. Unless they went down to South Africa and to Africa and borrowed some of their words and try to add it together. Now it's more bastardized. Bastard. Mixed breed. A mixed breed language. While modern Hebrew is largely based on, here we go, Mishnik. No, it's not biblical Hebrew. This is where they try to lie, classify it. They trying to classify it now. They try to, boy, now they're trying to classify your language, black man, and to put it in your mouth. But it's already been classified before we got to classification. Hebrew as well as Sephardic and Ashkenazi. Here go the real corpus. They tell you half true. Here go the real corpus. Ashkenaz. Liturgical worship language. Literary tradition from the medieval. That's when they start changing your language. And retains its Semitic character. No, it don't. No, it don't. And it's morphology. Morphology. But if it did retain the Semitic, they would have never changed the words. They would have never changed the meanings. They would have never changed the dialect. They never would have changed the alphabets. They would have never changed none of that stuff if it retained its Semitic character and much of its syntax. The accounting among the scholars and is that modern Hebrew represents a fundamental new linguistic system, not directly continuing any previous linguistic state. It's new. How many times I got to tell you? And it says modern Hebrew is considered to be Koine language. Where do the word Koine come from? It comes from Greek. Based on a historical layers of Hebrew that incorporates foreign elements. I thought it was the original Hebrew. If it was the original Hebrew, there would not be no foreign in it. Mainly those introduced during the most critical revival period between what? 1880 and 1920. By who? Yehuda and Ahim. As well as new elements created by the speakers through natural linguistics evolution. It changed. It evolved. Your language evolved. It's no longer the same. And they try to apply it to you, black man. They try to say, we're going to classify it as your language now. But it's not. It's theirs. They created and bastardized it. They changed it, everything. Once they changed it and destroyed it, then they want to get it to get them. Then they want to present it back to you to make you call on the Most High. And you will never be able to call on the Most High with that language. You know why? Because it's bastardized and changed. Now we will give you back your language. Once we changed it. It says a minority of scholars argue that the revived language had been so what? Influenced by various substrate languages. It's a mix. It's a bastard. It's influenced. It was changed. It is new. Substract language that is genealogically a hybrid with Indo-European, Palestine, Arabia, Aramaic, Russian, German, with a little Spanish influence too, which you got the L and the La and the masculine and the feminine. If you study that Hebrew, you know what I'm talking about. Spanish come from Spain. Where that come from? European Spanish. Masculine, feminine. That's where you get your masculine and feminine lines in that fake Hebrew. And it said those theories is not theories, it's facts, have not been met with general acceptance because they don't want to accept it because they know they created a lie. The accounts among a majority of the scholars is that modern Hebrew, despite its non-Semitic influence, can correctly be classified as Semitic language. They straight up telling you it's not Semitic. So why are you learning a fake language? They just flat out told you. But a lot of Israelites not going to accept it. A lot of them not going to accept it. A lot of them is not going to accept it. I'm going to do part 2 on the language part, the alphabets. Let me see what else they got here. Nah, we ain't worrying about that because my battery is on 6%. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to upload this video, Facebook and YouTube, and you just going to see for yourself. So peace be to y'all, my fellow Israelites, that seek the real truth and not this fake truth. Shoot, man. All right.